All right, good morning. It looks like it actually worked, not only as it was designed to, but on time. So if you have been following me for any time at all, you know that my name is down here. I am Jason, or Motor Cop, or MC if you prefer. I am the co-host of the podcast, What's Your Emergency, with my good buddy Justin Shore, the Happy Medic. And if you haven't been following me of late, I should preface all of this with saying I have not worked in a while. I'm actually off on injury, so I'm not sure how long my back is going to allow me to stay upright, but I'm going to get through this, and then I'm going to go ice the ever-loving you-know-what out of my back. But why am I here this morning? This morning we are going to talk about why budgeting is important. Now, before we get into that, let me preface all of this with, a lot of times folks don't want to talk about a budget. They don't want to think about it. It sounds stressful, overwhelming, scary, if you will. And all of those perspectives are totally normal. They also happen to be dead wrong. Once you know what you're doing and how to do it, it is absolutely incredible. And we're going to talk about some of the myths surrounding budgeting in a little bit. But as you trickle in here, do me a favor, just drop a thumbs up or comments that says good morning, that you're here. I'm curious to know when folks arrive that you can hear me and see me. So the last thing I want is to sit here yammering on for 10 or 15 minutes just talking to myself. So do me a favor, give me a quick comment, a quick hello. I'm actually going to be checking on I've got my iPad over here on the side. That should show me as well. All right, I got one thumbs up. I will take that. Perfect. Awesome. So let's go ahead and jump in then. Let's talk about budgeting, right? Happy Monday, everybody. Also, side note, welcome to the first day of school, at least for local folks. My kids are currently cleaning the dining room table as they prepare for their first day of distance learning. That is a whole new kettle of fish that we're facing. So it's going to be a challenge, but that's what we're made for. So budgeting. Let's talk about what a budget is, what it is not, kind of using an analogy. So the wife and kids just got back from a road trip. They went up to Oregon and Washington to kind of do some pre-scouting for potential move down the road after retirement, whenever that may be. Who knows if it's going to be injury related or if I'll just be done in 5 months or in a year and a half. Everything is up in flux. When they planned their trip out, and I'm going to say when you've planned any kind of a road trip, you didn't just get in the car and start driving. You had at least a vague idea of where you wanted to end up. So I'm going to use their trip up to Portland, where my brother lives. And they had a route planned out. They didn't get on our freeway and go south, because Portland is north of us. They planned something out. It's the exact same thing with your money. It's being intentional with where you want it to go. At the baseline of it is you are simply, at every payday, when you get money in, you need to tell it where to go and what to do. If you don't, you're kind of living haphazardly, without intention, and your money will just go away. It'll just leave you. And that's really an interesting study in regret, at least for us. Because when we started budgeting, when we started writing everything down and being intentional with our money, we discovered that we were wasting $500 a month on who knows what. We had absolutely no idea where it had gone, why, didn't know anything about it. That's $6,000 a year. Now, I don't know about you, but I could certainly use an extra $6,000 a year. That is not a small amount of change. When we started writing things down on purpose, we saw a very quick return on our efforts. We were able to start whittling away at our budget, at our debt rather, very, very quickly, because we had that extra, that unallocated $500 was now going to attack our debt. We paid off almost $78,000 in 28 months doing just that, just creating a plan for our money. But here's the problem with budgeting. A lot of people don't know where to start. They don't know how to create one. They certainly don't know how to sustain it. And there's this inherent fear about how you're supposed to approach it. That's why I spent the last week creating my 5-day budgeting challenge. In 5 short days, using 5 short steps. I think the average length of the video that I recorded for each step is about 13 to 15 minutes. It's very approachable. It's a very simple solution. But that's kind of the trick to it is, yeah, sure, the solution's easy. The execution, on the other hand, takes some practice. We didn't get comfortable with our budget for months. You know, I'm a big proponent and fan of Dave Ramsey. As a matter of fact, back in 2013, I had the opportunity to fly back to Nashville and spend an entire week with Dave and his team, and I became a Dave Ramsey trained financial coach. And I did a bunch of work with that a number of years ago, and then my master instructor course came up and everything got pushed to that. You know, life happens. But I have circled all the way back around, and I've landed back in comfortably in spending more time talking about this aspect of your life. So going back to our road trip analogy, I want you to think about your budget as nothing more than a map for your money. That's all it is. You have to figure out where you are, and that's covered in step 1 of the budgeting challenge, figuring out where you are, and then you have to figure out where you want to go. Think of a GPS. If you tell a GPS, I want to go to Vegas, since we're talking about money, and that's a great place to spend your money, right? I love Vegas, don't get me wrong. But if I want to go to Vegas, and I put that in the GPS, the other thing it needs to know is where I'm starting from. So at the very beginning of this budgeting process, you got to figure out where you are. And that can be a little messy sometimes. That can be a little scary sometimes. You have to look behind you at the way you have been spending money in the past. But that period of time that I want you to look behind you is very, very, very brief. If you're driving to Vegas and you spend 90% of your time looking behind you, you ain't gonna make it to Vegas because you're gonna crash. Look ahead of you. It doesn't matter how you got to where you are. I don't care. I don't care how many wrong turns you made. I don't care how many times you have circled the block. It doesn't matter. Where you are is where you are, right, wrong, or indifferent. I am not going to judge that, and neither should you. So let's talk real quick about a myth. But before I do that, do me a favor, if you are watching live, drop a comment in, let me know you are here, that you can hear me, see me, all that kind of good stuff. If you have questions, whether you're watching this live or whether you watch it later, drop them in the comments and I'll be reviewing them. I'm going live every day this week, so I can always circle back and answer questions that may have come up. If you want to send me an email, you are welcome to do that. It's jason@themotorcopmindset.com. Ask any question you want and I will do my best to answer it. So let's get to the myth. A budget is restrictive. It doesn't let you do what you want to do. It's kind of bossing you around, right? But here's the thing. The truth of it is, it's the most liberating thing that I've ever done with money, because I'm the one that creates my budget. You're the one that's going to create your budget. So if you don't like what it's telling you to do, that's your fault, right? You can change it. You have the power, the determination, and really the obligation to change where your money is going. Thank you very much, Darren. I appreciate that. I'm glad you can hear me. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if you're here live and you have questions, drop them in the comments. And here's a cool little feature. I'm using this new program called Ecamm Live, and I can drop comments in right there, which is pretty cool. So I can highlight your question if you like. If you don't want me to do that, then just say, don't put this on the screen. And, I probably won't. At any rate, thanks very much. I appreciate that. The budget allows you to set your goals and create that plan to achieve those goals. Now, yeah, it's going to take you some time to set those goals. I have a goal of retiring. I want to retire sooner rather than later. So I am, again, this past week, I have created this whole online 5-day budgeting challenge that gets delivered directly to your email, and I'll drop the link here in a few minutes to tell you how you can sign up for it. It's totally free for a period of time. We'll see if I end up charging for it or not. So strike while that iron is hot. But again, if you, let me say, if you want to have more money in dining out, right? But you've only given yourself $40. But like us, you have a family of 5. $40 is not going to get that job done. If you are feeling unsatisfied because you want to do something else with your money, then you just got to sit down and change your budget. The trick is your money is finite. You don't have a money tree in your backyard. You can't just make money appear. But if you aren't using a category in your budget and you want to take money from there and put it over here in dining out, you can do that. Nobody's going to judge you for that. That's entirely up to you. If you want more money there, put more money there. With the caveat that it has to be within reason. If you are buried in debt, I would argue that you really shouldn't be eating out a whole heck of a lot, if at all. When we were getting out of debt, like I said, it took us about 28 months. Actually, it was 2 days shy of 28 months, and we paid off all that money. We didn't go out. We didn't go out for meals. We did have a line item, a category in our budget that once a month, when my wife Katie was like, I'm not cooking tonight, I've had enough, we had, and this is no joke, $10 in a Papa Murphy's line item, so I could go grab on the way home from work a pizza for $10, and it was always that we always had a coupon, and usually it was like on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I think that might have been coupon day or whatever it was, and that allowed us a kind of a cheat day, if you will, on our budget, even though it wasn't cheating because we planned for it. We planned for her to not want to cook. She doesn't want to cook every night. I don't want to cook every night, although now we have a Traeger, so I kind of want to cook all the time because it's amazing. But that's neither here nor there. When you get your budget dialed in and your money starts working for you instead of battling against you, it changes your perspective big time. It really allows you to feel comfortable when you get money coming in. I used to feel when we got paid, oh God, it's payday. Matter of fact, it just occurred to me when I used to use software Quicken that was kind of a reactive check register, right? Because we would enter in all of our transactions, and when I opened the program, and when I would enter anything, it made this cha-ching noise. And I would be balancing the budget in the dining room. The wife would be in the living room, and she would tell me years later that every time I heard that cha-ching, it stressed me out. Because if I was 1 cent off, and this is no joke, I would spend hours looking for 1 penny. And it was stressful because we were reacting to our money coming in and our money going out. The difference with a budget is that you are being proactive. So when I get paid on either the 10th or the 25th, as soon as we get paid, every last cent gets a job assignment. So we know where everything goes all the time. If I've got on my phone here, I won't pull it up, but I've got, we use YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. We've been using that for years. We didn't even know it existed when we were getting out of debt. Would that we had, because it's amazing. But if I am at our local game store, and we've gotten deep into board games, if I go to the game store and I think, man, I really want to buy a new game, let me look at my budget, because we have what's called blow money, which is basically just mad money, spending money that we give ourselves to go have fun with. And we Katie and I get to define how much we get every single month. So I can look at my phone, scroll to that line item on my budget, and say, oh, I've got X number of dollars. I can or cannot get this particular game. I can either afford it or I can't. And that's the other cool thing about a budget is our concept of can we afford it is totally different than it was before we got out of debt, before we started making a plan for our money. Prior to budgeting, when we were asking ourselves, can we afford this? What we were really saying was, how much overtime do I have to work? Because Katie wasn't working outside the house at the time. How much overtime do I have to work in order for us to be able to make this payment? Can we afford it equated to, can I afford the payment? Now it's, can we afford it? I'm just going to buy it. If the answer is no, we don't buy it. Period. If it's something we really want, be it a thing, an experience, whatever it is, if it's something we really desire, we will save for it. If there is a trip we want to take and it's going to cost us, random number, $2,000. I don't have $2,000 set aside now for random travel. Thank you very much, dumpster fire. That is 2020. But if I want to plan for that trip, let's say in March of next year, assuming that's going to be even a possibility, I can start saving for it now. So we've got September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I will have 7 months. So if I divide, let's make it real easy. Let's say it costs $2,100 divided by 7, I save $300 a month. Boom, I just paid for our trip. Here's an amazing side effect of that approach. When we take that trip, it's already paid for. You have never taken a trip where you've been able to hit relaxation when it's one that will not follow you home on a credit card statement. I have never been able to relax more than when I'm at the campfire, at Disneyland, sitting on a beach, whatever it is, knowing that, you know what? I would love another tall, fruity drink with an umbrella in it. Garçon. And he walks over, or she walks, garçon means boy, so he walks over and brings me my rum-filled cocktail, which is a weird thing to talk about at 8:17 in the morning. And I know, you know what? I can pay for that. It's done. Bringing gifts home for the kids, because I am not taking them to Vegas, for example. It's already paid for. I am able to relax at a completely different level. If that resonates with you, I cannot encourage you enough to really start creating that plan. So I'm going to talk just for a couple more minutes. I want to give you an analogy and one more myth. Remember, if you have questions, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it later, drop them in the comments in the post on the Facebook. I will actually likely be uploading this to YouTube later as well. I haven't cracked the code on how to go live on 2 things at once. Suffice it to say, I am here to serve you. I want to answer your questions. So if you have a concern or something you've always wondered about a budget, fire away. I am happy to answer rather. Being a police officer, I like to equate things to cop-related stuff. A lot of the people that tune in and watch me or listen to the podcast, What's Your Emergency, are cops or first responders and tend to get this analogy. If you are, let's talk about debt real quick. Pardon me. If you are struggling with debt and you're trying to get out of it and you're just throwing payments willy-nilly, right? I'm paying minimums on everything. That is going to take you forever to get out of debt. It's a shotgun approach to a scoped rifle problem. So here's the analogy. If I give you a shotgun loaded with birdshot and I stand you on the 40-yard line and there is a target, obviously, 40 yards away, and I tell you I want every one of those pellets inside that birdshot to hit inside the 10 ring. Is that even remotely possible with a shotgun from 40 yards? Nope, absolutely not. But if I give you a scoped rifle with a 10-round mag, and I tell you I want you to center punch that target with every single round, Are you able to do that from 40 yards away with a scoped and dialed in rifle? 100%. Even if you've never held a gun before in your life, I can teach you how to do that. It is not hard. The budget is your scoped rifle solution. It really is. It lets you focus and dial in and like reach out and boop, touch your target. In my 5-day budgeting challenge course, step number 5 talks all about getting out of debt. And it really references this tendency for us to have a shotgun approach to a scoped rifle problem. Here's the last myth that I'm going to talk about, because you may be having this trepidation surrounding budgeting. If I mess up, I've completely ruined my plan and it is irrevocably destroyed. That is not true. We screw up our budget today. I mean, not like today, because I haven't done it today, but we forget stuff. That's just being human. We forget, oh man, I forgot that, our friend's kid's birthday is, in a week and we've got to buy a gift. I totally forgot to plan for that. I have a plan that will help you avoid that particular problem. It's called a sinking fund, and that gets covered in step number 4 in my 5-day budgeting challenge. Everybody screws up. It is not indicative of you being unable to create, sustain, and stick to a budget. That is an excuse you are telling yourself because you just don't want to do it. So knock it off. You're an adult. You can do this. I promise. If some idiot cop that didn't know S from Shinola a decade ago can figure this stuff out, you can too. I promise. So I'm going to drop the link real quick. There you go. And I'm going to shut off, I think, if I can find it. Boop. There you go. So this is the link for my 5-day budgeting challenge. It's themotocopmindset.com/budget challenge. When you join, you're going to be sent to a page. You put in your name and your email, click confirm. Then you're going to get another email, or a first email rather, and you need to confirm your interest. This is called a double opt-in, right? It just means that, yes, you actually want the thing. And then you're going to get sent 2 emails. One is a welcome email, and the other is step 1. You get to start. If you signed up right now, within the next 10 minutes, you're going to be on your way to creating maybe your first specific, unique to you, and sustainable budget. What I want you to do, I've been testing it with a couple of folks. Make sure that you kind of green light the Motor Cop Mindset. It'll be coming from Jason at themotocopmindset.com. If you don't get that email, check your spam folder, because that's what happened to the wife. So we're making sure we're testing all these things out. But it's a 5-day challenge that will start whenever you enter your name and your email and confirm it. It starts right then. It is something you can do at your own pace. I am available to help you. Obviously, if you're watching this on the Motor Cop Mindset Facebook page, the Motor Cop Facebook page, if you're watching it on YouTube later, if you go to themotocopmindset.com/YouTube, that's my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to catch it live on Facebook, it's facebook.com/motorcopblog. The only reason I did it there is I've got way more followers than on my Motor Cop Mindset page. So there you go. I would love for you to go through this program. Give me your feedback. As a matter of fact, I will send you an additional email after the 5-day challenge because I want that feedback. I want to improve this. Share this with your friends that you know at the lineup table or sitting around at the firehouse or in the ambulance yard, wherever you happen to find yourself. If people are talking about, man, I hate working all this overtime. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not making any headway in my finances. I can help with that. I can help guide you. I can walk with you, help you create a budget, a plan that will get you, I promise, from where you are to where you want to be. Go to themotocopmindset.com/budget challenge and get started today. I will see you tomorrow, 0800. What are we going to talk about tomorrow? I don't know yet. Maybe we'll talk about why an emergency fund is an important thing. Maybe we'll talk about the envelope system. Don't know what those are? Well, we'll fill you in a day or two. All right, guys, be safe. Have a great day. Again, if you have kids that are starting school today, I wish you the best of luck. I'm about to go join them. They're starting off here in about a half hour. So time to go take a MC hat off and put on dad hat. Y'all have a good week. I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.